Hello Leo, welcome back to my channel, The Vibes Inside. I am Mariana and I'm here to do your first reading in the year 2024. We just had New Year. Happy New Year to you if you were celebrating. Well, I feel like I should shuffle on camera, so I'm going to do that. While I'm just talking here, because I've had a lot coming in here for you. I'm still trying to get my head around this a little bit. Okay, so I have some interesting energies coming in about polarities here and leadership. You've heard me talk about this idea that feminine and masculine energy is not necessarily in either female or masculine body, right? Female or male body. It has nothing to do with that. You can be a Leo woman exuding a lot of masculine energy, you could say. You can be a Pisces man exuding a lot of feminine energy. Nothing wrong with that, it just is what it is. Actually, I feel like the gender is secondary. Like the perceived gender that we look for when a child is born, the genitalia, is secondary. It's like in the universal realm, it's secondary. It's just I hear necessary precaution. It's a necessary precaution or necessary. Otherwise, we can't reprocreate. We can't mate, I guess. But it's secondary. The real, you could say, energy in you is the one you feel is most prominent, either masculine or feminine, right? It's and then again there is this, whether you are happy or unhappy in that energy, because it's like, in my own case, I feel like I developed into more masculine energy to somehow survive in this world. But it never made me happy, right? And this is an interesting thing to think about. It's like the more I pursued, being more masculine and taking more action and being more reliable and doing all these stuff. It's not that I want to be unreliable. It's not like that. It's just the more I pursued these masculine traits, I wasn't happy in that state. The more I pursued it, the more unhappy I got. The further away I got from the further I got into that, meaning the more years that I lived in that energy, the more unhappy I felt at my core. Does that make sense somehow, maybe? So you would say living or being in a certain, so I get the Magician outcome here, Gemini Virgo energy. We will look at that one later here. Yeah, this is interesting. Like when I look at him, this idea that he looks over the glasses, right? It's like he can see something that is, it's like looking into your soul. Like when he lifts his gaze from the reading book, where he looks through his glasses. It's like when he looks at you, when his gaze looks at you, it's like he looks directly into your soul here. And I am reading, this round of readings is very much about core energy, like who are you really at your core? And I can't tell you that. I'm going to read what I get from the cards, right? But what I can tell you, what I have experienced myself exploring these energies, because I have feminine and masculine energy in me as well. Discovering more and more of the feminine energy and why it has been hidden, like why it has not been there. So I get like, it's like the more and more I tried to lean into masculine energy and be more of that, the more difficult it actually was for me to feel safe and relaxed in this world. On my own, but also with someone. And it's because it was inauthentic. You see, like, if I try to tell the world that I can take care of myself, I have my parameter up, I know that I have work, I can sustain myself, I am in masculine energy. That's what I send to the world then. In that case, I could, as a core feminine, actually expressing myself masculine, and then I could attract a feminine into my life. Maybe a male feminine, but a male that comes into my life that has feminine energy. But I don't need that. I don't need it. Like, I need the opposite. I need someone who is masculine to come in and relieve me, you could say, of the burden of trying to be one. Does that make sense? But that was not what happened. What happened was I attracted a feminine energy into my life in a male body. So now I had two to take care of, like I had double. In the sense that, yeah, they may present like in a male body, but they weren't necessarily organized. They weren't very, not that reliable, not that, they were a bit chaotic in their energy, in the sense that they were here and there and everywhere. They were flowing. What feminines do, like they flow. They go where they want to go, where it's easiest to go, where it's more fun maybe to go, where it's like the feminine energy wants to flow. It wants to just relax and, So now I had two of them. I had my own energy and then this other. And I don't know if this somehow makes sense, but just take a look at yourself perhaps and those around you. I'm going to say something now, and I don't know if this is, well, you can take it if you want to, but it's going to be part of the reading here. So, what I'm going to say that I find in this world is that I've said before that feminines somehow have to masculinize. Not because they want to, because they are forced to. Okay, what does that mean? It means that the masculine energy is not able to take care of them in the way they want or need. It means that they are not safe. Every feminine energy is looking for a masculine energy that can sustain them, yes, and definitely make them feel safe, because when they feel safe, they can flow, they can relax. So if there is no masculine around you who can make you feel safe, you grow one yourself, you build one. Again, not because she wants to, but because she has to. My father, for instance, being the masculine in the family, he could not make me feel safe as a little Cancerian daughter. He still cannot. I feel unsafe around him. But you see, he's a Taurus. He's a feminine man, you could say. Feminine male. Exuding masculine energy, but in a toxic way. Because he still doesn't recognize this. Like, he's still in that masculine energy, right? But it's not a healthy one. That's why I say that gender has been ruling the world, right? If you were born with a penis, you could succeed, you could have, you were preferred. Like you were the heir to the throne. You were the one who could, you could say, because you are strongest in the sense of muscle power, so the males have been preferred. That's just how it is. The males, so are you born with a penis? You would be the one who was preferred. You would be the one who was thought as an heir to if there was a throne, or an heir of the name, the family name. Whatever, you could say, heritage in sense of name, status, work, money, buildings, items, money, yeah, I did say that, money, land maybe, or something like that. So just the fact you were given a penis could open the doors to this. Like, this was just given to you. As opposed to the girls, they never had that door open. Like, not in this world, not on Earth, not in the last centuries of Earth history. Men were the one who could get power, like in society. They were given more education than the girls. They were preferred in that way. They were decided on in the sense of that they were usually more able to deal with the energy that could come towards them when they are out there dealing with the world. But you see, you can be, as I said, a Pisces man. A Pisces man is not necessarily, like ultra feminine. He can be, as I said, the feminines have to build like a masculine shield in some way to balance something out. Otherwise, they are way too exposed, especially as men, being soldiers, needing to go to war. That is not at all healthy, and not something that you cannot sustain yourself there without a masculine shield. So again, I say gender is secondary. Like, it has nothing to do with the energy you carry. And for Leos, I want to say, it doesn't matter whether you are a woman or a man, or you even decide on another gender type. It's not important. It's the energy you carry. If you are a Leo, you carry Leo energy, meaning that we say that Leo's leadership, we say it is a natural born leader. I don't know which field, right? A leader in which field? I don't know that. But it's a natural born leader. I believe that Leo children, when they grow up, they will try to fight for their right to have impact, you know. They will be loud. They will smack the doors. They will have a loud voice. They will laugh out loud. You will hear them, like they will stomp around in the living or run or something. They want to have impact. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be valued. They want to have impact. They want to have influence. But then there is a development of Leo energy. We say that for now that it's like Earth is going through a transformation from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. I've talked about before on my channel, it's like we are in an evolutionary state. I've made some readings where the front picture are these tomatoes lined up, where the red one is like the finish. This is the ripe energy, right? The matured, ripe, perfect, strong, healthy, vibrant energy. But we have these stages of green tomatoes until we get to the ripeness of something. And for Leo energy, I think it's the same. It's like I said that the feminines have needed to buckle up and build a masculine shield when the energy around them, the leadership energy around them, is unsafe for them. Like they can't flow in that energy. When that happens, they wither. When that happens, they become unhappy. When that happens, they don't talk. They don't express themselves. They draw away from the energy. This is where it is extremely important how Leo energy evolves. Because again, Leo energy it is extremely potent for those who are around them. If the energy is selfish, if it concentrates around itself and it doesn't care about others, everyone else around that Leo is going to be impacted by it. Leo would be the leader of the pack, the herd. The energy that is exuded from the Leo energy determines whether those around it are thriving or dying. Especially if you have feminine energy around you, and you will have that as a Leo, because Leo is attracting feminines. Feminines get attracted to the light. It is a potency to hold Leo energy and to hold it in a way where you actually exude life or death. Does that make sense? Like an immature Leo energy is going to drain the room, looking for their own satisfaction, their own gain, their own needs for spotlight or attention. When a Leo energy is evolving, it can get to a state where it becomes the one that is not thinking about themselves, actually. They think about the ones around them. This is where you will see a successful marriage. If you have a Leo energy here that can make the feminines around them relax. When the feminine energy relaxes, it's going to express itself in the way it is. Not necessarily what, society prefers, but it's going to express itself in the way it is. Feminine energy that is happy, that is thriving, it's fun. It flows where it wants to flow. It likes to flow and relax and just be open and express itself. It's going to be very creative, very, very abundant, very fertile. There will be a lot produced, or, there will be a lot created and produced with thriving feminine energy. It's very not potent, it's fertile. But you see, it needs a light tower that exudes safety. Primarily. When it exudes, that's the potency of Leo energy. It's absolute confidence, absolute strength and muscle power. It's a confidence that is beyond normal, I would say. It doesn't even have to show its guns. It can show up in shorts, no armor. Like someone like that walking into a room is going to make everybody relax there. That's the potency of such leader. They don't need any armor. It's a confidence and a light and a security and I don't even know how to express it, right? It just stands here. I can see it, right? It's like a potent lighthouse. It just stands there, and it's the primary role. It just stands there like this potent light and power source. And then it's like it is exuding some kind of nectar or sonar, right? So that everyone around it creates some kind of atmosphere where the feminines that are in here, they would just relax. And they will show what they are. What kind of flower am I? What flavor do I have? What kind of song or color, or this is where the creative fertility comes out. Because of the safety. This is where pleasure is there. The feminine can relax and be open, But it requires a certain, I want to say, safety net. And it's interesting how this safety net is at the moment primarily given to the females. I'm not saying feminines, females. The female gender. The female gender is right now the ones that provide safety zone. It's expected of the female gender to be motherly, to be, the one that exudes the safety zone. This is where you can run if you get hurt somehow. You run into the safety zone of the mother, right? Of the gentle, kind mother. And it's put on the feminine gender to be that one. But just as I said before, gender is irrelevant in this case. About leadership or masculinity and femininity. It's like it has been reversed. The masculine energy is the safety provider. We say it's the provider, it's the guardian, right, of the herd. It provides the container. It's like a safety zone, right? And in that safety zone, things happen here. And this is where, when this safety zone is there, the feminines can just relax. The fertility is going to be like boom, blossom. But it's like it has been reversed, right? That you can be any feminines out there have been given the roles of being the safety providers. That's why I had to buckle up, That's why I had to build masculinity, because it was required from me to provide it for those who can't. Those who can't are, you could say, and in my case it was masculine energy that can't carry through. Wounded masculine energy. We say that there is a collective masculine wound of woundedness. That the wounded masculine energy is the reason why the feminine buckle up. Because now they have to be the safety provider for a wounded or weaker masculine energy. And of course, I'm generalizing here. It will probably not be for everyone out there. But if you are on my channel, you may have grown up in like households of like, I want to say reversed energies maybe. Like, especially if you feel you have been unhappy with the life you have been living. Examine yourself in that area. If you are unhappy in the state you are right now, it's because of something. Maybe it's because of the requirements that is asked of you. What you are being asked to be or do. For me, I had a breakdown, right? I couldn't sustain it anymore because I'm not built to be masculine. Like everything in me, I don't have a lot of fire energy in my chart. I only have one real placement of fire, and it's at 0 degrees. I am as utterly almost feminine as you can get it. I don't have these qualities, but I somehow managed to grow something, but not with fire, with earth energy. But you see, the point of this is that if you feel like I did, I can never ever be happy living in a masculine energy, because I am not masculine. Like all the requirements that are asked of me, what I am supposed to provide is a heavy load on me, and I cannot flow then, right? If I'm surrounded by energy that is requiring me to be the masculine, then I can't flow. I cannot even grow or evolve as a feminine energy. And that's what happened. It never evolved. It never really showed itself. So I had to get away from the requirements, you could say. I had to retrieve from a situation which I am not, I don't want to, I can't sustain that energy. So I am withdrawing from it into a state where I get more and more in contact with like the real me, you could say, the feminine part of me. For you, Leo, it could be the opposite, right? You are masculine energy. And a fire energy means that it wants to be in charge of something. So if you cannot be in charge of something, you would be unhappy. If you feel like you can't rule, like nobody is listening to you, everybody just dismisses your kind of leadership, you could say. It dismisses it, it's not listening, it's going the other way, it doesn't care. Then you would be unhappy, I guess. Like you need this kind of leadership, like the potential in you is leadership. But it's how you're yielding it. If people are dismissing it, are you aggressive? Are you self-serving? Are you dominant? In what way are you yielding your fire energy, or is it dormant? If you were the only masculine in a very feminine dominated environment where everybody wants to flow in their own direction, they want to go where they want to go, or there have been other masculines that were very dominant there, maybe you couldn't exude you never grew into that leadership position. You never had the confidence, the support, the everything you needed to grow that magnificent light of yours. If you are unhappy where you are, people are not listening to you. They ignore your instructions or advice or something. It's probably because it's like you're not in the right environment and you're not trusting yourself. It's interesting how we say that the earth is going through a change. The earth is moving itself from a third dimension to a fifth dimensional energy. This is so interesting. I think because the earth and the fertility on earth is very reliant on the sun. And you, Leo, you are associated with the sun. The interaction between the sun, the warmth, the beam from the sun and earth is the reason why there is life here. Why we can be here. It's because there is a temperature that somehow sustains life, and it comes from the sun. Do you see how important it is then? Do you see again how the sun is the beam in the middle, and then we have these planets around it, right? And they are kind of like, it's like the planets around the sun. The sun is the leader, right? And the planets around it is the herd. If there's going to be fertility here, it's because what the leadership sends here, what vibes comes, is going to tell us whether there is life here. sustainable life. If you're too close, it dies. If you're too far away, it dies. If you are at the right amount of distance, it can actually thrive here. But again, I feel like there is some kind of growth process for each planet, a growth process, but also for the sun. Why should something change in our environment here if Earth wants to grow, or Earth wants to, that like the energy on Earth, the consciousness on Earth wants to change? How can it change if the nurture, like the fertilizer from the sun, is the same? Like the same beam, you get the same beam from the sun. Why should anything change then? I think that in order for something to change on Earth, the sun is changing as well. Like it's a mutual interaction. You know, like children that grow up. Like it's, or you know that children that are playing with each other, when they are young, it will be a more primal kind of play. It's not very civilized. When we grow older, we learn that we mustn't punch each other in the head and so on. We speak differently to each other. It becomes what we call more civilized. It's more, we're trying to make a bit more of a calmer way of interacting. What if you could say the sun and the earth is the same? So for Earth to mature, the sun has to. The sun has to go through, as I said, like a Leo. When a Leo is a child, it has a very primitive way of exuding its leadership energy. And it just wants others to follow. But they don't necessarily do that, do they? So when the Leo grows up, it has to adapt and figure out, oh, I can't just send my projections on them and expect them to do what I want them to do. I have to negotiate. And for some reason, I feel like there is a saying also, spiritual intuitives, they talk about that the beam from the sun is different, that the X-ray that comes is different, that there are coming new light codes in to Earth. Like light codes from the sun, maybe from other places in the universe, light codes that come in to help Earth grow and evolve. And then we will evolve with her. We have no choice. But where do they come from? These light codes here, where do they come from? Well, most potently they come from the sun. It's the closest one, right? But there could be other reflections from other star systems and everything out there that some intuitives pick up on. In my case, it's Sirius. Sirius has a very different leadership energy, masculine leadership energy to it than what we experience currently on Earth. But that is my sun, you could say. I am linking more to that sun than the current one. I'm grateful that it's here, but I'm linking to the other. Maybe, Leo, you have a sun here, a special one, that you have to tap into in order for you to be that leadership where you actually make people, as I said, if you send out the right leadership vibe, those especially feminines around you, they will flow. They will relax around you. That's the potency of such leader. It means that those around you will yield, but not in a dominant way. They will be safe enough to show you their potential. They will be safe enough to be fertile with you. They will be safe enough to create. Do you see the difference? It's extremely potent energy. And we know that with Leo leaders, they are very, very successful. It's just the way. It's something about that kind of leader with that kind of potency knows that it's not supposed to do everything itself. And it's not, centered around its own energy. It's exuding an energy that where others can flourish, where others can show up with their potency, It will sprout around them. So they can send out a vibe, and then it starts sprouting around them. Bing, 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 like that. They delegate. They trust that this other energy, if it can just blossom and show itself, it's going to bring forth something extremely beautiful. That's why I say a leader like this, or a masculine like this, their wife will be flourishing. They will be healthy. They will be safe. They will show their colors, because this feminine, when she walks down the street with a masculine like that, she's always safe. Always. He sends that vibe to her. It's like I get it like a nectar or like a sonar beam. It sends out a potency beam that when she gets in touch with it, she'll just know, right? She'll know, oh, this here I can relax. I'm safe here. I don't have to worry about anything, and I don't have to be masculine. I can relax here. It also means that he's not a threat to her. Otherwise, she can't relax, right? If something is a threat to her, she will build up that masculine energy. And I've talked about before, it's not the feminine that we want. The masculines do not like these feminines that buckle up. The reason why they buckle up is because of fear, right? They are threatened in some way, or they are withering. That's why they have to buckle up, to save their energy. Otherwise, they can't sustain themselves. It's like being too close to a sun, that is drying everything out. So again, if you have Leo energy, you become very discerning about how you are yielding this energy. It's about those around you here. If you are a leader of a business and you have Leo energy and you're exuding this Leo energy, how are you doing that? Are you seeing that everyone around you is sprouting here? Do they pop up with ideas? Are they safe enough to express it? Are they, relaxed? Do they pitch in? Are they doing that? Are you tolerant and patient to wait for them to sprout? Do you have that in you? Do you have the tolerance to hear their stories, to listen to them? this is where we are playing others good, or we are allowing others to sprout, to grow and become vibrant. Does that make sense? Like it's a fertility thing, right? It's an abundance fertility thing, that something can sprout, that it has the safety to come out of its shell and show itself. But the buckled up women or the buckled up feminines cannot do that. They are in danger. That's why they're doing it. But we don't like these women, or we don't like these feminines. We don't like it in, let's say, a Leo. A Leo like this is terrible. A potency hidden in a very fragile feminine energy. Like, that's terrible. It's exactly the same thing as the feminines that need to buckle up and have armors. It's just as abusive. It's terrible, and you will be unhappy there. I feel like it's like some of the energies are reversed in us, or we see them expressed so. That's why I talk about it's important you know your core. Maybe you're not able yet to express it fully, but you have to know your core. And you have to figure out, if I am at the core fire and Leo and masculine, I cannot exude a woundedness. Like, a woundedness is going to attract a strong masculine. So now he's fighting me for my power, right? My power that I want to exude. I want him to listen to me and follow my instructions because I'm a leader inside. If I exude vulnerability, if I exude weakness because I have been abused, if I exude this energy of weakness, you can have a stronger masculine that wants to come in and protect you with their leadership. But this leadership is now it's in a contrast to your own that hasn't evolved. You see, it's still dimmed, it hasn't been able to grow, and now you stand in front of a vibrant one. You can't fight them. Like, you're not strong enough to be an adversary here. So you will dim again. Do you see this? Like how it's like a So the core of everyone is extremely important. Most of us are buckled up. We don't even know what our core is. If we have been growing up in supportive homes, yes, then you may know it and you're pursuing it. Those of you who are unhappy and you seem to attract partners into your life that are just making everything worse, and you have to run, or they have to run at some point from you, it's because something is wrong here. Something is wrong. I see feminines that are buckled up. You can have masculine energy that are distressed and out of balance because they have never learned how to yield whatever masculine energy is in them. It comes out as rage. It comes out as explosions. It's immature because it has never been supported. It has never been given the tolerance. You see, if you had a father who would give you who exudes safety. So you could safely show your masculine energy, and they would be calm about that. They would be all right with that. You could exude it. You could show it and be fun, or you could be, you could be domineering. You could have the primal expression of fire, and they would be calm about it because they know, right? But if you had an aggressive father who doesn't know how to handle their own fire, they don't want you as an adversary. Like they want you to keep quiet. They are on the throne here. You don't have anything to say. Someone who has yielded and matured their fire energy, they will be calm. If you express wild, aggressive, maybe masculine energy, they will be able to be quiet and just contain that energy, because they know what it's like. They know, because they have gone through it, they have grown it. They know when they were like that. They would be able to hold you, your fire here. They would be able to hold it, your fire. While it is wild and aggressive and, they will be able to just hold the fort here. While you are feeling it, even sometimes people can get afraid of their own fire. But he would just stand and hold the fort, and he would say, it's all right, I got you, right? I got you. But did you have a father like that? Did you even have a mother like that? Who saw the potency in you, who saw the fire, who saw the leadership wish, right? The potential. Could they be calm around you? Could they or couldn't they? Again, this gender thing, it's obsolete. I feel like it's obsolete. We have to look at the energies and the potency of the energies, the raw potency energies that a baby expresses. So here we have parents that need to be able to understand that if you stand with a Leo child, they will challenge you, because they can't otherwise. They can't grow the fire energy and evolve it and mature it unless you allow it to. Unless you allow it to evolve and be contained and understood and supported. You need that. So I feel like that you could have fire energies that are miserable because they can't express their fire. They have learned they must not express their fire. They are bad or wrong or unwanted if they express it. So they can buckle up around maybe a weaker, unsafe, procrastinating energy, because they don't know how to, like every time some of this comes to the forefront, there's shame here and guilt and maybe destruction, because a wild fire energy is destructive. It fires everything off the table. It is wild. It is raw. It hasn't learned to It doesn't know itself yet. It's a little bit, this is like a really terrible comparison, but when a young person for the first time starts to drink alcohol, it's going to be a mess. They can't control it. Like they put soda in it and then it tastes great, and then they drink way too much, they get way too drunk, right? But if you allow that young person to experiment over time, they will find a way to still drink but have a good time. They won't faint and be unconscious in their drunkenness, or throw up and be extremely sick and everything. But you see the point, it's like the first time you try to run, like bike on a bike, you can fall and hurt yourself, right? But if you get a bit of training is the key word here. Training of what core you have. Training, allowing yourself to train, perhaps. How can you allow yourself a bit of training space to figure this out? I don't know, maybe boxing exercise, like where you can allow yourself to hit something, or to like push your fire energy into something where you're not destroying everything around you necessarily, right? But you are working, you are getting to know that fire energy and the potency of it. It needs training. It needs growth. It needs the ability to evolve. And for some reason, I feel like the sun, like our sun, the life giver to here on earth, the potency and fertility of earth is there, but not given the right environment, it's going to wither it. It's going to dry it out, or to ice it out of life. The potency of the sun, what the sun radiates, is extremely important for fertility on earth. If we get too close, we will dry out. If we get too far away, we will ice out, freeze out of life. The right, you could say, like any burning fire, if you get too close to it, it burns you. If you get too far away, you freeze. But the right amount of, and now I get back to this ripeness, right? Because when the tomato gets ripe, it's right. But if you let it sit, it will eventually rot, right? There is a middle ground that is exactly right. We know that with energy as well. The most potent energy, where we are actually maybe our best, it's maybe not when we are children. It's also not when we are elderly. It's in between. That is where we have best impact, you could say. We are most vibrant here. We are ripe here. I don't know when you will become ripe, like your age, I don't know. Some will maybe mature very young. So when they are 20, they are ripe. Right? We see that with like professional football players, like their ripeness is when they are in their 20s. This is where they are like the most skilled, the most supported, the best earning athletes. Some will, like the ripeness of someone for some it will be in your 60s, maybe. It depending on the amount of support, the warmth or the cold given here. Like if you have been in the cold, it may take you longer to ripe, right? If you have been in like excessive heat, you may never even ripe. You are dying at infancy, or the potency of your inner core is dried out at infancy. Do you see my point? Like it's the environment you're in, the amount of support you get is important for developing that core feeling, or what I call the God voice, the real potency of who you are. But you have to learn to yield it. You have to be willing to train yourself, no matter what energy you have. You have to be willing to train yourself. Get over the ego state. And then you show some of this light, right? See if something is sprouting around you. Is it sprouting? As a leader, is it sprouting? Does it feel safe enough to show their real colors? Their true colors here? And can you stand with that? Can you accept that? Can you tolerate that? Are you confident enough and stable enough to handle that? For me, this is real leadership. Like that is a potency that is almost supernatural. Okay, let's get into the tarot. But this is some of the incoming messages that I somehow feel like has been coming in here, like and becoming aware of how you can just look at your parents. Was your mother very buckled up and closed off? And was your father an incohesive, a bit unreliable, maybe toxic energy, or reversed? Did you feel safe when you grew up? If not, have a look at this, right? Have a look at this. And become very aware of what you truly need around you. I still don't feel safe around my father. He is just creating disturbance in my life. He is not a safe person for me to be around, and he's definitely not my son. Like, he's not my leader. He cannot be. If he would be, or what I call a divine masculine here, if he would be a divine masculine, his most ambitious goal in the world was to make those around him sprout and grow up to be fully expressive, fully expressive, safe people. But that's not what he sends to me. Like, he still sends the same kind of vibe to me. I don't feel safe around him. He's not a supportive father figure. His energy in itself is corrupted as well, right? So I see that. I just can't choose him. He can never be that for me. And sometimes what happens is that it keeps playing out. So the men I could attract into my life could be like him, still making me not feel safe. But as long as my subconscious and my consciousness is not awakened, hasn't figured this out, I can repeat the pattern. Because deep down we want to heal from it. So we keep repeating the pattern until at some point we get it. At some point we wake up to it. Some don't. Like, they keep doing the same thing throughout their entire life. I have gotten to a point where I have realized this. I cannot have energy like that in my life. It's not healthy for me. And it can never, ever, ever make me feel safe to blossom. That is the problem on earth for feminine energy. Not female, not male, feminine and masculine energy. Okay, let's get into the tarot here. So I get the Queen of Air. Yeah. Queen of Air is, I would say, Queen of Air is it's air energy. So this may have to do with it's how you think. It's your mind. I hear Mercury here, mind, communication, throat chakra, identity. This is in the center, so this could be important. Maybe you're dealing with an air sign here. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Aquarius is your opposite Leo. And the interesting thing with Aquarius energy is that if a solid Aquarius stands in front of a solid Leo energy, they will have a difficult time finding a compromise. Because a healthy, vibrant Aquarius energy has a certain core and certain core beliefs. A vibrant, healthy, strong Leo energy has different core beliefs and core values. These two will probably not be the best company necessarily. They can get attracted to each other, but they are not, they will have a difficult time being best pals here. I'm not saying that it can't happen, but I'm saying that one has to budge or both have to. Otherwise, they are fixed energy. They don't budge. They're stubborn, and they have very different oppositional energies. Maybe you're dealing with someone here who is like this, or maybe this is in you as well. If you have Aquarius somewhere in your chart, personal planet, besides Leo energy, or if you're cross-watching for someone here, there could be someone here on your mind whom you have a grudge with or even a crush on, because you see, Leo wants to lead and be in charge. But you cannot have charge over a healthy, vibrant, strong Aquarius energy. They will not allow that. They are their own. Like, this is the one that like, it doesn't want to be ruled. It's saying no to rulership. Like, I believe that in the Aquarian world, there are no rulers per se. It's not necessary. Like, Aquarian planets, it's like they just share an inner core of the same. Like, they don't have a need for a ruler. Like, they are the ruler themselves. Like, they don't need someone to come in and rule or take charge or something. It's like, so you cannot rule over someone like this. They will not budge to your energy. They will just remove themselves from you. There's no point for them in being around you if you exude like the sense that I want to lead you, right? I want to lead you. They will just say, why? Like they don't understand, like it doesn't make sense to them why you should lead them. And they're not asking for your leadership. And they're not accepting it either. Like they don't accept you as a leader. You know, and maybe that's what I talked about it before, like a Leo that stands here and those around them are just ignoring. I stand here with all my Leo potency, all my leadership potency, and just being ignored. Like that would probably make a Leo, I get quite frustrated, maybe very angry. Like, why don't you listen to me, damn it, right? You have to listen to me, right? And they're just, why do I have to listen to you? I'm not asking for your leadership. I'm not asking for your advice. I'm okay, I'm fine. Why do you want me to yield to your power somehow? Do you see, like, they don't want that. They are your utter opposite. And I, like, this can be a very frustrating situation to be in. And if you have both, like if you have both energies in your chart, personal planets, this can be very confusing. Which way to go, like, let's say you have a Leo sun and you have an Aquarius moon. Or you have an Aquarius sun and a Leo moon. Like that is... You will have the feeling of being confused, I guess, in your energy. Or like there is no inner cooperation. There's no... That could be a self-sabotage here. That could be this feeling of like an inner clinching. Like that. And if you are dealing with someone externally, it could be the same. The same. Very frustrating. It's for both of you. Very frustrating. They sit here. They stand here with a lot of blue. They are very bluish. They can be very, very intelligent here. Queen of Air. Very intelligent air sign here. With an owl beside them. It's a queen, so they could be intuitive as well here. Intuitive, clever air sign here. You know, being guided here by something. That this is a guide helping her, right? Stand her ground, perhaps. That, or the owl can, you could say, represent the wisdom that she has, the cleverness, the wisdom she has, the understanding she has of something. And it's just indisputable. Like this one will not budge. Like their wisdom is their core, you say. The wisdom, the voice, the wisdom, their intuition perhaps is their core. And it means that this needs to be protected at all costs. She will do whatever she can to stay in her power here. Or to just be who she is. Because I feel like, again, she would just ask why. Why do you want to control me? Or why do you want to exude all this sense of leadership on me? I don't need it. I don't want it. I don't need it. Just back off. And for Leo, that would be like a bit of frustration. I can feel it almost here, right? Listen to me. Listen to what I have to say. I'm trying to help you here, right? But this one would just say, why? Like, if you keep doing that, you are suggesting that what I am doing is not good enough, or what I am is not good enough. That you want me to be something else. Otherwise, you wouldn't do that, would you? Like, why do you keep maybe sending something to me here? I'm not asking for it. I don't want your leadership. I don't care about it. I'm fine without it. Like, that could be this sense of someone ignoring your leadership, you could say, or your potency here. They're saying no to it. So this can be an internal thing that you feel this back and forth thing going on, or that you're dealing with someone here. Let's have a look at the bottom of the deck. This could also be that you are growing, maturing something in you, like a voice or a wisdom here, but that because this is needed to evolve Leo energy. Like, to evolve Leo energy, it has to get out of its own, you could say, sometimes selfishness, or the need for approval, the need for spotlight and something like that, the need for outer validation. Because this one doesn't. Like, they don't need outer validation or advice or something. As I just said, they would say, why do you keep sending all this stuff to me? I don't want it. Like, they have their own leadership going here for them. So maybe this is a state that you have developed into. Let's have a look at this from the bottom of the deck here. I get 4 of Earth here. 4 of Earth is a card, like 4 of Pentacles would be a sense of not quite having enough. Like, this is where we sometimes hold on to our coin. Like, we are afraid of that something will be taken from us, or that we will lose the last bit of security that we have. So there could be a sense of feeling insecure in your skin here somehow. Or, as I just said, that, and this is very atypical for a Leo, right? I'm reading for Leo energy here. This is very atypical. I have Earth and I have air here. So for some reason, I feel like 4 of Earth, again, being on Earth and feeling unsafe here. Like, you have to hold on to the energy you have, protect yourself. That is the 4 of, we are not quite at the 5 of Pentacles. The 5 of Pentacles is, here you are out in the cold. Then you have lost everything. You don't have anything. Here you still have something, but you know you are afraid to lose it. You're afraid that it will not sustain you. You're afraid that it's going to be not enough. So now we have a Queen of Air here, and because of that, something has been developed here. Because of this, something has been developed here. This can be I feel like I read for Leo energy, but it's like it's almost not here. I get, maybe it is here, somewhere in here, but it feels unsafe. And because of that, it has to develop something else, other skills, or Can I get one more card on this Four of Earth here? It's like so what I get from this is, yeah, it's like it can't sustain itself, like it feels insecure in its it's almost like again I read for Leo, right, but it's almost like it's not here, like a Leo, a sun energy that is so dimmed that it almost doesn't shine. And this can happen because when nothing is supporting it. Like when nothing is supporting it, you would say, and like this is terrible, like really terrible, but look at the sun, how potent it is. Like how can something as potent as the sun be dimmed into like merely ashes? This is a violation. Like there's no fire. It's very small here. It's like it's almost, I want to say the same thing that I feel has happened to me. It's like but reversed. Like my feminine energy wasn't sustained by anything. Nothing around me when I grew up was sustaining and supporting the feminine energy to sprout in me. It means that I dimmed it and I grew masculine energy. This is the same thing, just reversed. Masculine energy that was dimmed, very dimmed, and I can't even get how that is possible. This is due to violation. Like this has to be a... How do you kill the sun? You drown it. I don't know. How do you kill fire? You drown it. You put water over it. I don't know. You put water over it, or you create a storm. Or you retrieve the oxygen out of the air. Then you can kill the fire. If there's no oxygen. Oh, this is interesting. Again, oxygen is something that can keep fire burning, right? It's a fuel, you could say. It's a necessary fuel, or you could say a support system for fire. But if you take the oxygen out of the room, the fire will eventually die out. Do you see again what I talk about environment? That if you are surrounded with someone here who can take the oxygen out of the room, this is an air person, right? An air energy. This is someone who could drain the oxygen out of the room. Maybe with their exactly what I say. Like they kill the oxygen with what they say and what they are here. Because what they are do not need you. So when you start and wanting your fire to burn here, they are asking why. Or they are saying walk away. Why do you want to exude fire on me? I don't want your fire. Like they are ignoring it or rejecting it, you know. So they suck the they don't give you life force, they don't give you oxygen to grow or evolve that fire energy. Does that make sense? Like that could these two together, if you see the point, they could we could even talk, because she is a queen here, and that kind of strikes me, you know, like a queen here, an air sign queen, could be Aquarius, doesn't have to be. If they have, you know, if they are masculine, like again, as I said, if you try to come in with masculine energy and leadership here, and they're just saying, walk away, I don't want your leadership, they are taking away the oxygen. This is what I feel like has been happening with the, you could say, the freedom rights of the feminines. What the feminines are asking for is equality. So they want to be equal to men. They want to have the same rights, the opportunities, the same salary. They want the same because they don't want to be oppressed. I get that. But in having the same, in being equal to a masculine energy, it makes the masculine obsolete. Like if they say, why? I don't want you to exceed or like project any kind of masculinity on me. I don't want that. Why do you do that? Or who gives you the right to somehow believe that you can exude like masculinity over me here? That is a way of taking the oxygen away from you, because it's killing the masculine then. How are they supposed to lead if nobody wants to be led or follow? This is the real problem. It's because the way that the leadership is conducted, the feminines don't want it. It's not making them safe. It's not making them safe. They can't relax there and just open and be expressive in their own way. So what are you sending towards them, right? That should make them feel safe and valid and, you know, like accepted. Again, if they buckle up here because they feel unsafe and they buckle up, it's taking a buckled up feminine energy that is very clever can be equally as successful as a man. But they will not need a leader then. They have masculinized enough with their wisdom here to not need a man. This is one of the things that wasn't there before, right? As I said, men were the ones who were given, I'm not saying masculine, but men were given education. Men were supposed to be leaders. Men were supposed to be in charge. But not all men are masculines. And the way they were given power was not necessarily to make the feminines feel safe. They should just comply. It was a system that required the feminines to just comply, but not sprout necessarily. That is the difference between a a masculine and a divine masculine. Because it also makes, if the women are supposed to just comply, or be submissive and just comply, they will never sprout. It means that it's all on the men now, or all on the men. That all responsibility, all money, all sustainability is on the men. Because the feminines will never be able to contribute. So it's a power struggle. Either one way or the other, it's a power struggle. If the masculine can lead in a way where the feminine can sprout, she will contribute because she becomes fertile here. She will contribute to the overall abundance. But it means it's a cooperation and a trust thing here. The masculine has to trust that she will sprout and she will show her true colors, she will be fertile. And the feminine has to trust in the safety of the masculine. So I get it, an overworked male population here. Not necessarily masculine, but male population having all responsibility to sustain the herd, to sustain the family. It was all on the men. And the women had to comply and stay small. But we could have leadership women here. And they have shown up in history. But you see the buckling up here, the not feeling safe, makes the women seek other opportunities or other wisdom here to do alone. And this is a problem, right? If the mass majority of people become like this, like the leadership becomes obsolete, it's not wanted. Nobody wants it. Nobody is requesting it unless it comes in with a certain potency. So if you stand in front of a woman here who is buckled up, very clever, an air sign perhaps, you need to make her feel safe and validated and accepted. Otherwise, this will never go away. She will never ever, you would say, let go of that masculinity and just be who she is. The provider of safety, I believe, is one of the most important But it's not just physical safety that you have food on the table and a bed to sleep in and a roof over your head. This is also emotional safety and validation and acceptance, because that is the reason why she can sprout. She shows her colors exactly as they are. Not with only a few of the leaves present. She shows everything. She's not just 1/3 open, you know. She opens up with everything. She becomes devoted. She is now letting him lead because she can flow here now. She can flow. There's no danger. This is one of the most important aspects of new leadership or new understanding, I guess. It is already here, like modern psychology knows this, right? It's just not necessarily what happens behind, like, or inside the homes. And especially also when we deal with children that have very raw, unpolished energy. It's learning. Like the childhood is a training phase to actually stand in that full power or core. But for now we all shield it or we all mask it up because nobody actually feels safe. The vast majority doesn't feel safe in their core. The Time Master. So the Time Master, I feel like the way, like he's looking this way, right? So he's looking at her here. Time Master it is on the left, so this can suggest a past choice, I feel like, around this. Again, the Queen of Air, Aquarius energy, can also talk about this incoming new Aquarius age that is here at the moment, and it's challenging, perhaps, Leo energy to unfold itself or to grow, to mature. The fifth dimensional energy is going to challenge third dimensional Leo energy to grow and mature. It's necessary. But you see, if you like being in the more spotlight, selfish or more arrogant state, and you have never thought about it, you just like it, you like the fame or something, spotlight or whatever, the status here, the support from others, you like that, you don't want to grow, you don't want to evolve into something else. Leos are very fun, right? It's the most potent, happy, fun state to be in. It's utter adoration. And if you are in that state and you have a lot of followers and you know you are vibrant and sexy or whatever, why would you want to leave that? You wouldn't want to leave that. To grow into something else, you wouldn't want to do that. But this is looking right at you. And again, the Time Master could suggest that it's time, right? It's time. But maybe you don't like this one, right? Maybe you don't like this one looking at you. Like it's time to mature, or it's time to grow up. It's time to look at what I need here, because I am telling you, I'm showing it. I'm showing you that this is in the world. Educated feminine energy here, clever feminine energy can sustain itself without the leadership, right? So if you want to have a say here, if you really want to be able to show your worth here, you have to prove it to me, right? You have to prove to me that you can be what I want, or what I truly want here from you. The way you come in, if it's a very aggressive masculine, you have to listen to me, right? I'm right, I know what's the right approach, and they're just saying, why? I don't want your advice. I don't need your advice. What you are telling me doesn't make me feel safe here. It just tells me that you're not accepting me who I am, what I am, everything I am. You're disputing my wisdom. Like, who do you think you are? Right? To question that. Or question my integrity here. Who do you think you are? Questioning my integrity. If you have nothing else to offer but unsafety or making me feel small or making me, not accepting me, only accepting me if I only show, like very little of me, like who do you think you are? Why should I listen to you then, if that's what you're doing to me? Does that make sense? That's what I feel like. And the time master has been, maybe there has been, like a time where you have been observing someone here, observing maybe observing what's going on. The time master can also say that it's simply time for this new state. For all of us, that it's time that the fifth dimension is here, and it's challenging you, I think, because old-fashioned leadership doesn't cut it now. Like, you can't use the old ways of dominance or control or dictatorship or something like it. Just doesn't cut it. And this is like the time master is looking at this current state, right? Like almost like an external observer of Earth, right? What Earth and Sun is going through, that what is happening here. That it's time for a change for all of us. And it's definitely challenging you, Leo. It's challenging you to see that it's time, perhaps. Accepting that it's time. The driver for this is the mystical shaman. And the mystical shaman is like, he sits here and he's smoking his pipe. And he is exuding here, sending out almost like a vision about manifestation. Like he wants to manifest something. He sends out a message here. Sending out a message. And as long as the message is that we are not safe here, which I believe third dimensional energy is, it's about control and competition and like toxic masculinity, toxic leadership. As long as this is the message, as long as this is what you have been sending out, this is what has happened, right? It has buckled up, and now there is a request here that says, why should I listen to you if you keep sending me this? If you keep sending me this, if this is all you are sending me here, if that's your current message, I don't want it, right? It's time to change here. It's also interesting how here he has turned away. He looks in this direction, right? He has turned his back to her. He's just sitting here and sending out his vibe. He's not even looking at her. He's not sending her any information about being safe, taken care of. It makes her feel very unsafe here. That he has turned his back in the past, turned his back here. And he just sits here and, like this could even be a bit of a narcissism, like he's just so in love with his own image here. That he keeps talking about that, right? This is the only thing he sends out, his own image. Turning his back. Here he has changed, like he is now looking at her. Because from the Four of Earth here, feeling very insecure, feeling very, someone has changed here. And is very clever now, standing in a different energy here. Like it's very difficult to manipulate this energy here. It's too clever. Or it's even too high dimensional here. And now he has turned around, right? He's turned around and he looks at her. But she doesn't look at him. She looks more towards us, right? She looks towards the camera here. And he is looking at her. It could be, like a feeling of that something has not looked in my direction for so long. And for a long time, it made me feel very bad here. It made me feel uncomfortable and unsafe. But I can only stay in that energy for so long. Eventually, I am being a self-starter now. I choose to maybe get myself out of this situation here and evolve into something else. It says that energy can't really be killed, but it can be transformed into something else. So from a state of feeling very unsafe here, unprotected and alone maybe, that someone has turned their back here, from that state they have developed. Maybe that was the whole point. Maybe that's why they turned their back in the first place. That they were thinking, okay, they have to change by themselves. I'm not getting involved in that. I'm letting them be and see what happens. And I trust that they will, that I leave. Well, it will probably hurt them, but eventually, if they have stayed in this energy for a long time, they will start moving. They will change from this energy into something else, and now it stands like a queen of air here. It has buckled up with information. This is knowledge, air energy. It's maybe communication, it's knowledge, it's wisdom, it's maybe higher learning, education. And the education is now helping this one to stand on their own 2 feet. And they don't need leadership, right? They don't need this one to come back, actually. They stand on their own 2 feet. That's the image they sent out. That is the energy that is here. So if someone comes back here, you know, with all their leadership potential, and they would say, yeah, but I would like to engage with you now. They would just say, why? Or they would say, oh, now you want to talk. Now you want to talk? You know? Now you are here. Now you want to talk to me, right? And I think it's like they are just ignoring them. So from being ignored, they are now ignoring the other. So this is interesting, what's going to happen with this energy, because from being ignored, you grow into maybe some kind of confidence here. From being the one who did ignore, you now become attracted to what they grew into. So this could be your energy over here, Leo, that you're looking at someone who is grown into a very confident, I want to say, self-preserving air energy here. And you could have been the one who, you were just minding your own business. You were not taking care of it. You just turned your back to it. Something that may have seemed weak or vulnerable here at some point, you turned your back to it. Just waiting maybe for them to mature here. Waiting for them to mature, and now you're looking at them. Something is looking here. The Time Master. Something is looking at them. Maybe finding them very attractive here. Maybe you are finding them very attractive. This could be an air sign. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Maybe Aquarius, that's your opposite. Maybe you find them very attractive now because they stand like this. It could be that the fifth dimensional energy, Aquarius age, is what you are facing right now, and you can't seem to, before you could turn your back to it. But now you can't, like you are confronted with the new energy. It's time, like the new energy here on earth is asking everybody to step up. No matter what energy you have, and you included, Leo, you have to step up. This leadership energy of yours is extremely potent, and it has to come out in the right way. Otherwise, they're just asking you why. Why do you think that you can just exude this energy on me and expect me to just comply? Because Aquarius energy does not comply. It's ruled by Saturn and Uranus, the great teachers, the great awakeners. The time of awakening is upon us, and it's asking you here also. It's like you can no longer not see it, right? So now I get Hierophant here. Let me get the bottom of the deck, because I'm pretty sure it's probably an energy that was not potent. Or let's have a look here. It says Knight of Cups. So you see the Hierophant here. Look at how potent he is, right? How shiny he is here. How he glows. This is what you are asked to be, right? This is what you are asked to step into. I know this is Taurus energy, but I don't look at it like that. Today it's the image that kind of captures my, like, this is the leadership, but You see, he's like a cardinal or a pope or something here, right? So it's something about the values from which he is ruling, the values from which he is leading, what values is behind his intentions. He has a golden robe here. There is such potency light around him. He has a beard here, a gray beard, so this suggests someone who is mature, right? Who is the Hierophant is usually in comparison with the high priestess. The Hierophant is usually someone who is established in the existing world, where the Hierophant or the high priestess can sometimes, work behind the scenes. She's a feminine version. This is a masculine version. So she can be, like, she does the rituals at night. She is working at home maybe, or in the forest or something, with a little group or herself. Where this is someone who is out there, like they could be, like we see it here, like a pope or a priest, in a job, like they are seen by people. People come to them, people ask them, people like them. This is but there's such a difference between a priest leading its herd and a business person in a big corporation leading its herd. Like the intentions in the church is different than it is in the corporate business. Does that make sense? Like the intentions can still be to lead here according to maybe a manual, a script, a Bible, or a teaching. But what is it that the difference between a pope, sometimes we see that, right? That a priest is not necessarily a rich man in sense of money and, belongings. He can, like, the leadership or the word he is speaking, like the teaching or the script, the manual, the words are maybe not his own. Like they could come from not just his, right? It could be a group thing. It could be something that multiple have established. And therefore, when he is saying it cannot be selfish, right? It cannot be fully his own words and only to soothe and himself, right? Not only his teaching. This is a democratic, maybe. A democratic leader, right? It's a leader that understands diversity. Again, a pope, a priest, In the church, you could say everybody is welcome. Because the Lord, the source, God, doesn't condemn anyone. If someone is walking towards Him, if someone is seeking God's advice, so they come on their own, it's because they come by themselves. Then the door of the church or the priest or God would never close, right? The door would open if someone comes and seek the advice themselves. The priest can make, they have their sermons. They preach to those who do come and sit in the church, but they are not controlling or domineering or frustrated or maybe bitter or something about all those that don't come. Those that come, they will give the sermon or the words, the teachings, because they are open to hear it, right? They are coming on their own, like they're coming on their own. They're choosing it by themselves to go into the church and listen to the preaching here. But they will not force others to come in the door. They would never not open the door if someone is knocking on it and seeking an advice, seeking redemption, seeking healing, seeking advice. But they are not running down the street persuading people to join, right? That is one of the differences between, as I said before, this one is asking, why do you keep preaching towards me, sending your signal towards me? Why do you do that? I don't want it. It's unsolicited advice or unsolicited or unwanted leadership or advice or guidance or manual or teaching or Bible. I don't want it. I may have my own teaching here that I follow. It's very close to her. So I follow my own teaching here. Maybe a different religion, maybe a different community, maybe a different wisdom here. I follow that. You cannot just exude or project all your stuff on me anymore. And now he's looking, right? Now he's looking at her. Like, what? He looks actually a bit astonished. It's like, what? Like, what has happened? What happened? In a time span where I may have been very absorbed in my own stuff here or doing my own thing, not putting attention on someone. And in the meantime, something has happened here. He looks a bit astounded to me. Again, I get this feeling of, it's almost like being woken up from a state and now knowing that, oh, we have to go now. And being a bit, wait a minute, what? Right? And they are not looking. Like they're not at all looking at him. They are looking somewhere else. And they have something beside them here that is absolutely, like trusted. Like this is it could be wisdom, right? It could be intuition. It could be a guidance. Someone who she's trusting more, right? She's trusting this more. And staying with this. And it's almost like this one looks like, well, what? No, wait a minute, right? And the one who is here is like, this is a different teacher, right? They have different intentions. They exude a different energy. As I said, like if you can exude the nectar or sonar of peace and calm, then the energies will relax around you. They will trust you, right? And they need that to sprout. And you need to have the intention to want that, to actually, you embrace it. You embrace that they are trusting you and that they are showing their true colors. That would be true leadership. True Leo leadership. You would embrace it. You would love it. You would like thrive in that. You would thrive in the knowing that I see this fertility grow, right? I see how it would be the same as looking at Earth and see how it would just sprout. Everything would be extremely colorful and fertile. How proud would the sun be, right? Of seeing that? Of seeing a planet becoming so fertile, so extremely potently fertile and creative and colorful. That would be a very proud sun then. Looking at a child, right, that just shows all its colors. That would be a potent father, right? That would be a proud father. Looking, embracing how maybe different the children are, or how different the energies around them are. How different they are, but how beautiful they are, right? And how potent every seed, every little child, every little has this ability to make everything so abundant. But many of us live a life where we don't feel like that. We feel discouraged in our energy. We feel we have to dim it. We are ashamed. We feel shame and guilt and sadness and so, self-sabotage, self-numbing. We are coping, but we're not thriving necessarily. So we need that leadership. We need a leadership that is like highly potent, right? It's so full of confidence. Taurus talks about confidence. It talks about like spring. It talks about the vitality and potency. But the intentions are different. Like the intentions of a Hierophant is to see the community thrive. To see the community, the constituency, everybody in there. I think that for a priest, the constituency of his church and the teachings, if he sees that people thrive there, that they take, that the advice that he can give is something that makes them sprout and thrive, that would be fulfilling for him. That would make him proud. That would make him want to do this even more. It's not about his one thriving. It's about the whole constituency, the whole local town perhaps thriving. And he is participating in that. But this becomes now a cooperation between him and a leadership here, a word of support and guidance that makes much more fertile. It's not about one thriving and glowing. It's about the entire herd. Right? It's about the local town. It's about the constituency thriving, glowing, supporting each other, helping each other grow, playing each other free and abundant, right? So when you send a message to someone, what does it contain? Does it contain validation? Does it contain support? Does it contain acceptance and absolute tolerance of who they are here? Does it send all of these vibes? Because that vibe is de-armoring. It de-armors. But if we send like control and frustration, and you have to do it my way, and I'm the only one who knows, and this is the correct way, this is the only right way, they will buckle up, they will armor up, because it's not kind. It doesn't support growth. It withers. Which is not really what we want to see deep down. We want ourselves to thrive, but also others. And it creates a community that is not fighting each other. Again, it comes from the Cups energy here. Knight of Cups. It comes with a message of love and kindness. And it's like you can no longer ignore it, right? I get if you are Leo here and you are the one that is kind of, what? What happened during these 2 weeks of vacation? I can't recognize you here. Or you're feeling the push of something that hasn't been there before. You feel the push of something here. That this Age of Aquarius is here now, and it's asking you to step up your game, to evolve your fire energy to a divine masculine energy. So I get the Time Master here. I took another card and I get appreciation here. So it's like now he's looking at something that is quite attractive. Now he is appreciative of the energy. He has even given her a rose here. Now he sees something as attractive. The Time Master may have changed his view. It's time to appreciate more. It's time to step into gratitude more. It's time to, again, the Cups energy here. It's time to be grateful. It's time to appreciate what's around me. It's time to appreciate something. Something I feel like that I haven't done before. Now I look at it, it's like it looks more successful or more together somehow here. This one doesn't look weak, right? It doesn't resemble this more like I need to like really preserve my energy. I need to withdraw my energy. This doesn't look like that. She doesn't look like that. And there is a lot to be grateful for. Even if you feel like your life has been terrible, there are things to be grateful for. Even minor, small things. So, for the Queen of Air here, I get soul radiance. That's exactly what I feel like. It's like someone has been, it says here the Phoenix rising. It's like something is changing here. And it's showing up with like a radiance that is different than it was. This one is very different than this. Like this is that discouraged, fearful, guarded, you could say, energy that tries to preserve its own energy, that is maybe frightened or fearful here. This one like stands in a radiance of like I'm on the rise here. I'm on the rise and I actually stand quite firm in this. Like you can't interrupt me, right? But for some reason I feel like there is a like there is great appreciation for this change around you, I think. Even though something is quite astonished, maybe, it doesn't really get it. The time was right to make this change. The time was right to rise here. And there's a lot of appreciation. You could even be, like this could be one of the reasons why you rise, is because you do have appreciation here. And you may have appreciation for the change you are going through. It could be, as I said, left cards can indicate past energy. So something that the appreciation here is actually what is leading to the Phoenix rising, leading to the Queen of Air here. Queen of Air and soul radiance, Phoenix rising, they look similar to me. Like they have some of the same color and glow to it here. So again, like an earth energy or an energy that is rising into a higher vibrational state of, and I think earth is asking us to. The sun is asking to us as well, like the light beams or light codes that come in from the sun now are different than they were earlier on. And the time has become right to this change. It's like earth and sun is ripe. It's ripe for a new phase. A new age is here. At least that's what astrologers talk about. We know that Aquarius is regarded as the oldest air sign. It is the most wise, clever, intelligent, brilliant air element. So it is evolved. It's an evolved air element. We know about Aquarius that it talks about technologies, it talks about newfound wisdom, new things that we haven't had here on Earth yet, or we haven't experienced yet in our current form. It's about evolution. It's all about the greater good of mankind. And the greater good of mankind could involve, like a brain expansion. Scientists believe that we use around 5-10% of our brain. What if we could open up for 30%? What would that be? What kind of things would we be able to see or build or establish or know? What if we could use 50% of our brain or even 100%? What would that look like? You see, again, I get this feeling of evolution, that we are just children, like we are toddlers here. The way we use our brain is like we are infants, right? We have barely opened the door to what the brain is capable of manifesting and building or being, so we have barely opened the door here. We are still quite instinctual, still quite animalistic in our way of dealing with life. What if we could open up 70% of our brain? This cannot come over time, then we will become psychotic. But what if we open a little by little here? The time is right for it with the Aquarian age. It's asking us to open up something. What if when we open up our brain, the soul radiance becomes more apparent? Which soul we actually carry in us. So the brain can be a doorway to the soul, right? Along with the cups energy, along with the heart energy. So an expansion of appreciation and love vibes, together with an expansion of the brain, can be the doorway to like the true soul radiance of also what your power is, I feel like. For some reason, I feel like I don't have fire here. It's very interesting how it is an air element that is, and it tells me something about identity, like shifting your thought patterns, your way of communicating, maybe your intentions. again, very brain oriented, that it's changing into something else. It allows a different energy to shine through here. Or you are dealing with someone who is mirroring this, they keep vibing this to you, and it's asking you to raise your vibration up. It's asking you to be a different leader around them. It's asking you to step into a different leadership here. A different, like the soul radiance here and the Hierophant, right? This is a major arcana. It is about elevation here. Growing, evolving into something else here. But it's so interesting how I don't have fire here at all. Can I get one more card on the Hierophant here, please? So I get alignment, and yes, it is. It is what it is. Like so, Phoenix rising, aligning with new energy. It's a different energy. So interesting that I'm reading for Leo here. But for some reason, I also feel it's like the fire is changing into something else, evolving into something else. Or you're co-creating with something here that changes your energy into a different leadership, a different leader, a different masculine. And it's very bluish here. I feel like what is happening to the fire? What's happening to the fire? And for some reason, I also want to say this probably feels quite uncomfortable. Like this could really feel uncomfortable for you. If you don't have this energy from the get-go, and I don't think you do if you're on my channel. This could probably feel very uncomfortable. For me, returning to my feminine energy has been extremely uncomfortable. Very unsafe. This may feel very unsafe as well, like you don't know what you're doing. You don't know what's happening. Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about the fire energy here? What's happening to this fire energy? Card on that, please. So I get 2 of air here. Again, air influence. What's happening? 2 of air is usually a card of confusion. Feeling not knowing what to do. Confusion. Maybe Leos at this point in time feel confused. I get something about, because there's a lot of blue here, it's almost like being influenced by something. Like there is an influence that is doing something to your vision, to your thought patterns. Two of air is usually when we feel, normally when we have one sword, one air. Ace of swords, ace of air is like clarity, clarity of mind, knowing where to go. You have one particular goal, you have one truth. You have one truth. So you go towards that one. It's a clear mind. When you have two of air, it's like there is something coming in that is now disputing your normal clear vision. It's like having two truths, or seeing two truths at the same time. Or because there are two, you feel confused. That I said what is happening to the air energy or to the fire energy? What's happening to the fire energy because it's not here? It's confused. It doesn't know how to take action. It could be the feeling of being a bit paralyzed in your fire. Because there's something here that doesn't want to yield, right? It doesn't want to. The normal way of using fire, or what has been normal up till now, it won't work. The fire energy is confused at the moment, and that's what I feel with him. It's like he's kind of, what? Wait a minute, right? It's like the time is right for this change, right? Or for the energies to wake up to a new truth, a new time. The age of Aquarius is really here. It's challenging you. It's challenging your intentions. That's also what I said with the Hierophant. He is a Hierophant because he has certain intentions and beliefs, and he is preaching a certain script, which is not entirely his own. He preaches for the greater good of the community. That could be why you are confused right now, because normally you used to serve maybe your own energy. You used to stand in your own energy. Serve that one. Be true to that one. Hear it clearly. Following it. Going towards that success or spotlight or fame or whatever, prestige or what it is. Now you're confused. The clarity of mind is not the same. It's like there is a different energy coming in that you can't seem to ignore. Like it's there. As I said, it's like they are asking why. Like why? I want to lead you, and they're saying why. Why do you want to lead me? I cannot be led. I'm not someone who can be led by anyone. That's not how I work. That's not my values. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in the fire. It's like the fire is changing into something else. Or as I said, it's like the oxygen is taken out of the room, leaving you very confused here. Leaving you very confused. It's like I've said this before. Like a leader needs needs someone who wants to follow. If nobody wants to follow, well, he can be a Leo, but he can't rule. But he can't be he can't use his energy. If nobody listens, if nobody is adhering to the rules, the rules set, or the traditional ways, or it's like there is a rebellion and a rebellious energy that doesn't want to adhere to tradition and rules or moral or all this stuff. And that's very Aquarius. Aquarius is very rebellious in that way. It doesn't adhere to the normal moral and settings of society. It won't just budge to that. Like Aquarius goes its own way, even if there's no support to that, it will go there. And it's confusing you. It's confusing the fire element here. That there is this air influence in your life perhaps, and it's not following. It's almost like it turns its back to your glitter, right? It turns its back to your vibrancy. It turns its back to your, you could say, greatness. It doesn't care about it. It cares how you are treating it here. Cups energy. It cares how you are treating it. That's what it's doing. It cares about how you treat it. And are you a leader? Because that's what Aquarius preaches, right? It would say, are you a leader only for your own gain? Or are you a leader for the gain of humanity? And are you also this for those who are closest around you? I feel like what's happening to the fire energy is, if you resonate with this, it's a confusion here. What to do? It's almost like feeling powerless in a sense, which is not great for a Leo energy here. So if you are confronted with someone here who doesn't want to take your leadership, they don't want to listen, you have to go somewhere else then. And you could say, preach your teachings. Because this one won't budge to you. They are just, like, they're just challenging you. I get almost, it's like they are quite well alone, like they are maybe on their own, but they, like they, again, it's like, why do you want to preach something to me? Like I haven't asked for your advice. I haven't come to your church voluntarily. I haven't joined the club, I haven't joined your club. So maybe you need new club members, like maybe you need to go somewhere else. The environment is wrong for you to be a leader, or you have to change your ways and evolve into a different leader. Like the old ways, well, they are kind of obsolete. We have a very different energy. The very open and slippery Pisces season is done, or age is done. It's a different energy now. And you may feel the potency of this more and more, Leo. It's like I get almost like the fire is changing into something else. The oxygen in the room is not there. So how do you sustain your flame if there's no oxygen? Is there any other kind of fuel for that? Like we know from other planets, right? Where if there's no oxygen, maybe there is, a gas present on certain planets. Like there's not oxygen, right? We haven't found oxygen on like the planets around us. What we know from them is that they don't contain oxygen. So maybe your flame needs to adapt, that it can be fueled by something else. Maybe a different air type, or like maybe not oxygen, but something else, air, like a gas. You know that, I know this sounds a bit, but the way the fire can only be sustained if there is enough, you could say, air and oxygen present. If the oxygen is taken out of the room, there may be air, but there is no fuel for the fire. So what can you put in instead, so that your fire is still able to exude something, still able to, I get a feeling like the fire energy is changing again. Energy cannot be killed but changed. So maybe like fire energy is changing, forced, or yeah, like this one did, right? When you turn away and you're not giving any support or any life force, like oxygen would be for you, right? Fuel. If there's no fuel here given to this one, it changes. It changes its ways. It goes somewhere else. It listens to a different radio. It joins another club. It knows when it's not appreciated, so it goes somewhere else. And I think it's the same for the fire energy. Now the fire energy may experience that the way they have normally exuded their energy, it's not going to last. Like it has had its time. The time of the fire is changing into something else, or it's being influenced by something else, asking it to change, like they did. That's what I feel like. Something is coming in here and making you second guess yourself. Or, like, again, this astounding, or this a bit like shocked, Like, wait a minute. What? No, we're doing it my way, right? And they're just saying, why? Well, but because that's what we normally do. This is the normal way. Yeah, but I don't want to. So it's making you confused and maybe second guessing yourself here. I get the feeling that it's your fire energy is challenged to adapt. I feel like adapt to a new atmosphere. It's like before there has been a lot of oxygen that has been keeping your fire going the way it has been going. Now it's drained out of the room. It's not there. You have to adapt to a different. Maybe you feel this now. Like maybe you feel like this now. Where there has been abundance of, followers and oxygen and fuel to sustain all your greatness, it's now like sucked out of the room, and you may feel more like this. So it's almost like a change of, like a change of tables. Leaving you confused, not knowing exactly what to do with all your fire greatness, which is maybe dimming because there's no oxygen to sustain it. It has to adapt to a new way of living. So this is interesting, I think, because I have no fire cards at all here. It's like the fire is very confused, unstable somehow. So I take another card on that one, and I get this 10 of Ariel here. It says here, there's so much to be grateful for: financial success and the promise of retirement, a rich and rewarding family life. It's like the fire energy is asked to retire, right? It says here a rich and rewarding family life, like changing the energy to it's like a different focus, where the energy is not so much out there on the corporate life. It could be that it becomes more, it goes more back to, let's say, the family and the home, again, I feel like, because when something becomes ground shaking, when something becomes very ground shaking, and you are living the high society life, you are like on the top of your game, everything is just oozing of abundance for you, you have great success. But if something shocking around you happens, when something like this comes in and sucks the oxygen out of the room, so you can't breathe anymore, it's like it forces you through something like this, where you feel that you don't have, that you need to preserve your energy, that the life around you is not wanting you. It doesn't want your fire in the way it has been. It's draining the energy, like it sucks the life force out of it. There's no more followers or no. It's like it could be, I don't know, like a very instant, quick, that suddenly you have lost something. You lost a lot of money, perhaps, Like maybe you lost, again, your work or something. 10 suggests an ending of something here. An ending of maybe fighting. An ending of engaging, an ending of fighting or competing or something, because fire energy is very much like that. It wants to compete, it wants to win. Like the end of winning, there is no winning. Because this one doesn't want to compete with you. It doesn't want to engage in the power dynamic. This would be an energy that just says, well, you clearly want to influence me, but I don't want your influence. So it's like what you try to exude, it's like it's just killed, normally there should be some interaction that makes it dynamic. This feels like it just sucks the energy, the oxygen out of the room, and your fire kind of just dims down. Because it's not engaging. It doesn't engage with you. There's nothing to conquer, right? The Leo energy wants to win and conquer and be on top and in charge, right? But when something doesn't wanna and cannot be conquered, doesn't wanna listen, it simply closes their ear off or flies away, right? It doesn't want to be around. It's not choosing that club. It's not engaging. It, like drama or fire, it needs engaging. It needs, that you have to put new wood on the fire, otherwise it just burns out. Like you have to give something to it. Like you have to give it something to maintain the flame. It can't sustain itself by itself. It needs some kind of fuel, wood or something, right? But this one just said, well, I don't think I want to sustain it. I just want to let it burn out. So you may be the one who feels this now. You could feel that you have been rejected, that the fire gets rejected. That it's over, the time of your reign, you could say, is over. Retirement. There's a lot to be grateful for, appreciation here, yes. The success may be there, the retirement, a promise of retirement is here, but maybe you don't want it, right? Maybe you want still to be in charge. Maybe you still want to be on top. Maybe you still want to conquer. Maybe you still want to show that you have the muscle, right? Maybe you still want to be the warrior. You don't want to be retired here or obsolete, like rendered obsolete. That's what I feel like is happening. It's confusing you. At least who I'm reading for, it's confusing. That's what I feel like. And it's asking you to go to your core and figure out what is your true leadership about. The ego will tell you one story. What is your true soul leadership about? If you feel like you resonate with this situation, I feel like that is what you are called to do. You are called to maybe change your thinking. 2 of air here. Like there is a different truth here. Maybe something you realized about your own conduct, your own behavior. That there is a second agenda behind the things you do. Maybe you do want to, help the world out there. You do want to be in service of humanity. But there's a different side. You also want the fame, perhaps. You also want the glitter. You also want your name in the history books. So maybe you know that you have 2. That your, like clarity of mind is maybe influenced by a secondary knowledge. And it's confusing you. Like, do I choose one way or the other? Because it seems like I probably can't be both, right? So which one do I choose? Especially if nobody is listening. Like if they just, like you feel like those around you are not listening anymore. The way you have conducted your business, or the way you have been leading others, or been yielding your own inner fire, it's not working anymore. It doesn't have the same appeal. Or maybe someone here around you is showing you that it doesn't have the same appeal. Forcing maybe something, it doesn't work anymore. So what else can fuel you if the normal setting doesn't work anymore? What else can fuel you then? And does it maybe take for you to change some of your intentions or some of your beliefs? Maybe there is a different truth to follow. Maybe you are using a bit more of your brain. You're opening doors to different knowledge. I don't know, but there's definitely a change here. I have no fire card whatsoever. It's very strange, actually. But this is what I have, Leo. Please let me know in the comment if it somehow makes sense to you. Or if you feel that there is something to it about the Leo, that the fire energy is a bit under attack, that it's no longer as valid as it was once. Yeah, this is what I have, Leo. Um, I think that if you're going through a transformation like this, I really feel like you should trust it. Like it says alignment here, soul radiance, a phoenix rising, Queen of Air is definitely a change of mind, maybe here. But I also feel like from being an energy like this, the more you step into this energy, changing your mind, doing differently, trusting something else, or trusting another script or blueprint here, your soul radiance comes through, you're aligning with something more, you are starting to glow more here. And it may not be what we normally know about fire energy, it's a different kind. But it's definitely more you. That's what I feel. It's more you here. Even if you had to change your mind and join another club, change your programming, shed something here. Even if you had to fly away, literally, move away, separate, whatever, even if you did that, it's leading you to a better alignment with your energy. You're not on the wrong path, I think. But you are maybe on a changing path, and it may feel very challenging. And confusing. And maybe revealing. Like the Two of Air could suggest that you may have had an epiphany about something you didn't see before. And now you are dealing with two truths, the one you had before and the new one. The new demand or the new truth, right? So dealing with two can be a very confusing time, especially as a leader. So with which leadership path or strategy do I choose? The old ways is maybe obsolete. It's retiring. The old ways is done. It has come to an end. 10 suggests coming to an end. It's over. It's done. You're moving forward differently. But it could still be a bit like on wobbly ground here, because you may still be confused, still not knowing exactly what strategy to use here. But I feel like try to lean as much into this as possible. Don't be too discouraged. Try to trust it. Like your soul is in charge here. It knows what it's doing. Even though it may not feel like that, the ego will be challenged. Our survival mechanisms are alert and all this stuff. You're just shedding ego. But it may feel very uncomfortable, especially for a fire sign that wants to be in control. Try to trust it and breathe and just go along with it. You will become a much better leader here, but maybe not the leader you were, a different kind. This is what I have. I hope this helps somehow. Take care of yourself out there, Leos. As always, I send you my best. Love and light to you. Bye-bye.